welcome. Right, before we get into it, I'd just like to mention the location of this video has changed, so sorry about that. Here we go. So in this interview, I'll be interviewing Natalie on her disability, or whatever you want to call it. Maybe you don't want to call it a disability. She has Asperger's, and I'm going to interview her on how she deals with it in everyday life. So, Natalie. First of all, would you like to say hello to the camera and say hello to everybody?
Hello, camera. Hello, everybody.
Right. First question. So, how would you describe your brain? Like, how would you perceive your brain if you had to describe it?
An excellent question. How long have you got? So the best way I can describe my brain to mere mortals is it's sort of like a computer. So you have the gigantic hard drive. I'm not talking about any average computer. I mean like the old style computers, like Alan Turing's
Christopher. The big hard drive. Things,
exactly. Yeah, the massive things. Yeah, and with hundreds of wires sticking out of it. That was like how my brain is, because it contains all the memory, all the facts, and they're all connected to each other. And if one thing sets it off, then it sets off a whole load of other things. It's like quite remarkable. But also, it can go wrong at time to time.
Okay. So, in what ways can it go wrong?
Well, it kind of short circuits. So if my main thing is my plans being interrupted. So if I think, or if I'm told I'm going to do something, and then all of a sudden someone says, "Oh no, you're not going to do that. We're going to do this instead." I'm like, "Ah!" There's a leak in the boat.
Blast someone's ears out.
Yes, I know. Apologies for that high-pitched scream, but my best way of describing it is like a sat-nav. So when you program a sat-nav, you program it to take you to a certain destination, and if, for example, you take a wrong turning, the sat-nav says turn around when possible. It freaks out. It's like, doesn't know what to do. They've gone wrong. So my brain kind of does that. It freaks out whenever it is revealed to me that I'm not doing what I thought I was doing.
Also, can I just mention how short you look in this camera?
Yes, apologies for that. As long as you can see my face and hear my voice, it doesn't really matter.
I know. Right, so next question.
Yes.
So how have your family been affected by that?
Well, now that's a good question. Because, I mean, my immediate family is mum. My family before were my grandma and granddad and mum. Grandma and granddad, of course, they were, older. They were of the wartime generation, so they didn't understand.
During the war?
Yes, exactly. Sorry. During the war. They didn't understand, and also because they, I wasn't diagnosed with this condition until I was 18, so I went through my whole childhood not knowing, and it was only after they died that I got diagnosed, so they didn't know I had it.
And who saw the first signs of it?
Well, it was me and mum and a few other people. So it was when we moved to Swanage, and we didn't have any beds or cooker or anything. We didn't have anything when we first moved. So mum's friend took us up to get all the stuff that we needed for the house, like beds, cookers, everything like that. And after 5 minutes of me in the car, she said to mum, "Is your daughter autistic?" And she said, "Well, I don't know, we'd never had her tested or anything." And she was right. She's because of my high intelligence, because I was sort of telling her everything I know, she sort of picked it up straight away.
You could fill a million books with the stuff you know.
Exactly, I could. I really want to go on the chase. So, I know if I went on the chase, I would love to verse Anne Hegarty, because she's also an Aspie, and she's really cool. And
Excellent.
Aspie versus Aspie, and we would be a perfect match. So if I ever get on the chase, I want to be versing Anne.
The program would go on forever.
Yes, that is another thing that would happen, because we'd both be on tangents.
And the host would just be like,
Bradley.
"Sorry guys, we're out of time."
No,
and then after he said that, it would be like, "You'd be going on even though
Yes.
he said it."
The camera would still be rolling, and I'd be like, and we're both Catholic as well, so that would be.
I reckon you'd be friends.
Yes, I reckon Anne Hegarty and I would be friends. So Anne, if you ever see this video, shout out.
Excellent. So next question, you said that you were diagnosed at 16.
18.
18, sorry.
Yes.
When did you realise that you had it? Was there a difference between you and your family, or?
Well, I've always felt different. I've always known that I was different along the line somewhere, and I always sort of thought that something maybe wasn't quite right. My obsessions with things, I would get obsessed and fixated on things.
Such as?
Such as TV programs, cricket, and this, other stuff, other random stuff. But also, what drew my attention to it was when I was before I moved to Swanage, we had this door in between the fence and the house to stop people getting into the back garden when I was playing. Grandad put it up there when I was little. When so I was safe, and so I didn't run away, etc. So he put it up, and when we moved, we were going to move, so it's a bit decrepit, and it was warped, and it didn't really work anymore. It didn't open and close, it didn't function, as Ben and I would say. So it was basically knackered, and I wanted to take it down and put another one up, because we were moving, and I thought, it would be good. It would save the next person a job. So I started taking the door down and everything, and I got to a point, and I couldn't do it anymore.
You got fixated on it.
Yes, I got fixated on it, and when everyone was shouting at me, and I was like. So I kind of lost it a bit. I had a meltdown, and I was sobbing. I was there was Niagara Falls coming out of my eyes.
And then that was the point you realised
that something was wrong with me, ladies and gentlemen. That was the point that I realised that I wasn't quite right. So when I got to Swanage, and my mum's friend said about, is she autistic, this, that, and that, I thought, well, I'll go along to the doctors and see. So I did, and I got diagnosed, and
So the only reason that you weren't diagnosed with it before was because you didn't have it tested.
Yes, I didn't have it. I wasn't tested. Now that's another story, because when I was at school, when I was at primary school, I actually was assessed, and they said, "Oh, there's nothing wrong with her. She's just a bit slow."
Sorry to laugh, but
that's what they said.
Just the way you said it.
And as idiots, I said idiots. And they didn't, and I was pretty right through school, from when I started to when I left, big school, sixth form. And there were numerous times in my life I thought, what's the point of being here? But I carried on, carrying on, and things are picking up. So you've got to hang on, keep going, and yes, exactly.
So you've had multiple problems from this, and how would if you could describe, if there was any Aspies out there watching this video, how would you describe all the, well, first of all, what are the side effects?
Yes, like, so mainly the first thing is sort of the social aspect, social interactions. When I was young, when I was really little, I didn't have any friends. I still don't really have proper, what I'd call proper friends now. I find it very, no, like you don't count because you're my boyfriend. So I mean, like friends that I go out with, I don't go clubbing or I don't go out places, I don't go shopping much. Well, I go shopping but with my mum, you know. So like, it's a bit of a downer for me. I feel like an outsider. I feel like I'm on the edge, on the outskirts, and then everyone else is in. So, yeah, I've always felt like that. I mean, when I was 5, my best friend was a tree called Brian. I mean, you know, he was the perfect friend because he didn't answer back, he didn't shout at me, he didn't hit me.
Didn't move.
Exactly, he didn't move. So he didn't run away from me.
Yeah.
So and Brian had a face.
What, you drew a face on it?
No, Brian actually had a face. Like so his, like, these 2 eyes and this nose and a little mouth. So I also had experienced pareidolia, which is the phenomenon where you can see images and patterns in floors, walls, ceilings.
Actually, that's a good subject to talk about in our debate videos.
Yes.
Okay.
What would that debate be? Anyway, carry on.
Yeah, we'll figure something out.
Yes.
Anyway, so now you've told us the side effects. What are the advantages?
Well.
But sorry, I'm going back. The side effects. So how would you, if an Aspie was watching this, how would you deal with that?
Yeah. So my advice is sort of, first of all, try and explain. The worst thing for an Aspie is when people don't understand them. We are very misunderstood creatures. And I say creatures because, like, sometimes, you know, there's a program we have called Friday Night Dinner, and the theme tune to that is I change shapes just to hide in this place, but I'm still an animal. And I just love that song because it just fits in so much of how I feel sometimes. So, like, shout out to the guy that sang it, I can't remember. Excellent.
You can't remember?
Yeah, I know. I've only looked it up once, so, you know.
See, that's another thing. You look up stuff and you instantly remember it.
Yeah, it does depend what it is. Like,
you're quite interested in medical stuff, aren't
yes, I'm fascinated by anything medical.
Which is strange considering you're all like...
A hypochondriac,
yeah.
I know. I think it's like... I think the fundamental thing is, because I'm a control freak, I want to know... I want to be able to control if there is something wrong with me. I want to know what it is, and I think that's just partly it. But the other part of it is just pure fascination. That's something I'm fixated on, something I'm really interested in.
So when it comes down to it, how would you deal with it? How, if you're telling other Aspies, like,
how would I deal with?
How would you deal? You know, getting through everyday problems. And...
Yes, everyday problems. Well, I mean, yeah, like I said, interactions with people, explain. I actually had some Aspie cards made up. I had some cards that said, "Hi, I'm Natalie Sherlock. My name's Natalie. I have Asperger's, and some of the things, I have really sensitive hearing, and I like my own space. You know, because I hate people tapping me. I hate people coming up behind me. If someone comes up behind me and taps me." Like, it's like, yeah.
But then again, like, knowing you so long, once you get more comfortable with the person, it's kind of like...
Oh, no, I mean, Mum did it once in the pub, and she knows that I don't like it, and she did it, and I nearly hit her. Not purposely.
I love the fact that this is going on YouTube and
Yes,
literally
not purposely. You understand? It was a pure reaction. You know, like when you like jump, you like
a knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It was like that, and I got really angry. But then it was fine.
So, what are the advantages?
Advantages. Well, we already mentioned my incredible memory, and I'm not boasting about that. I say it's incredible because it is incredible. I find it incredible.
Actually, we'll do a video on what type of stuff she remembers and everything. We'll do that.
Well, like, just to give you a hint, like, it's mostly comedies, but also facts. Facts and comedies are my main things that I remember. I absorb the knowledge and quotes. So,
So, if you met someone that was also an Aspie, is it likely that you would have something in common, or would you have to find that?
Well,
similarity. Or...
So obviously every single person is different, but when you meet someone else with Asperger's, you sort of talk about the things that you have in common, like the way you think about things, because I worked at a school, and there was a particular child there that was autistic, and I had a lot in common with him because I understood how his brain worked, and I understood what he was thinking and why he was thinking it, and we got on really well.
Can you give us an example of what, like, a situation that you...
sort of like not understanding sarcasm, and like shouting things out, and not having a filter between this and this.
What you shouldn't say.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Anything that came into his head came out his mouth. No, he's a brilliant kid, so intelligent, like me, so intelligent, you know, and brilliant and hilariously funny as well.
What about foods? Like,
yes.
You told me you struggle with foods, or...
Yes. When I was a child, I had an eating disorder. It was called... now let me remember the name of it. It's... I only found out what it was called, like, a short time ago. I was watching a video on it. And it's called avoidance, like avoidance eating disorder or something like that. It's basically I would only eat certain foods, and I just couldn't eat any other foods, and I was like really skinny and like but now I'm not. Now I'm a lot better. I still don't eat some foods, but yeah.
Yeah. So what about like sensitivity to touch and all that? And
I cannot have labels in any clothes. If I have a label in my clothes, I will feel it and I will have to pull it out.
Is that common with other Aspies?
Yes, that is quite common, I believe, it is quite common to have to remove the labels. Not only with people with autism and Asperger's, but also with other sort of various conditions that I've been sort of finding out about.
Yeah. So overall, what would you say to all the people, not just Aspies,
all the people watching?
Yeah, who are dealing with some kind of disability and maybe are a bit lost, you know.
Yes. Well, first of all, I would say if you have a dream that you, something you really want, a goal, set yourself a goal, and just if you have a disability and it's getting in the way of your goal, find a way around it. There's always a way around what you want to do. All the way around the problem, because for me personally, now I've done 2 things I never thought I would do. I've finished college and I passed my driving test. That is something I didn't think I would do.
Actually, that's another thing.
Yeah.
So you've passed your driving test. But
Yeah.
how? Obviously, it's a nerve-wracking thing for anyone. But how does it differ?
Well, it differs because I also suffer from anxiety. So anxiety is not just getting worried about things. Anxiety is like debilitating. The anxiety that I had was debilitating. It was, I like couldn't do certain things. I would have I would have panic attacks, and the worst one I had was actually whilst driving. I was doing my driving lessons, and I was coming over Poole Bridge, and my whole body went like seized up, and I was like couldn't move. I couldn't feel anything, and I was petrifying, and my whole body went into a spasm, if you like.
So if you could give advice on that with...
Yes. So how I got over that was by reading on the way to my driving test, because my driving lessons, because I had an hour journey in between like my house and my driving lesson. So I had an hour to get keyed up and anxious and everything like that. And when I got in the car, I would be like, and then panic. Yeah. So and then my friend one day lent me a David Walliams book, and I started reading it, and I read it in the car to the taxi driver on the way to my driving lesson, and I was really calm. I noticed like how calm I was. I didn't have a panic attack on the way or anything like that. So I realised that helped, and I carried on doing that until I got over my anxiety, and I did actually get over it. My anxiety, and it's a lot better now. I have to say, I did also go through therapy.
That is another thing I want to mention.
Yes,
about. Therapy is a wonderful thing, and they help you through so many problems, and it doesn't even you don't even have to be depressed. You can just go and talk to them about it, or whatever you want to talk about.
Depression, anxiety. Trauma, if you've been through a particularly traumatic experience, you can just go, and if you want to feel like you've got something on your chest that you want to say, then you can say it to them.
If you struggle with emotions,
yes,
then how did that, because I know you've been through some bad stuff in your life, so how did that come into it?
Well, I have got a lot better at dealing with my emotions than I was in the past. So when I was at school being bullied by my teacher, my only way to deal with it was to give me fits at night. I had epilepsy, and fortunately I've learnt to cope with awful experiences a lot better since then.
So did therapy help?
Yes, therapy helped. I went through therapy because nearly 3 years ago now, I had a hemiplegic migraine where I was, hemiplegic is just paralysed down one side. That's all it means.
Like me.
Yeah, but, but like, I also had the aphasia. I couldn't speak, and I couldn't see properly. I couldn't read, and and I was just basically very poorly. I was very poorly indeed. So I went, and I was in the ambulance and everything, went to hospital, found out I was anemic, spectacularly anemic actually. My iron level should have been 12, it was 3. So
this is what I'm talking about, people. The little facts that you wouldn't normally remember.
No.
Is like,
Yeah, so anyway, they put me onto my iron tablets, blah, blah, blah. But because of that migraine, after that migraine, I had severe anxiety attacks. I had severe panic attacks every single day. So I got fed up with it because it was affecting my life, and I went through therapy, and it really helped. And yeah. So.
well, I think we're going to end it there.
Yes.
Thank you everyone for watching. We hope you have learned something and enjoyed. Soon, Natalie's going to interview me on cerebral palsy and how I deal with it and all that. And that's coming soon. Leave your comments, any questions you have about anatomy.
Please, yes.
Any questions you have. Any questions
About
at all?
anything.
Anything.
It could be anything.
Yeah.
We'd love to answer.
Please leave your comments. Please give this video a thumbs up. And that's it. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for watching, and we'll see you soon.
Yes. Continue being awesome.